moving in that direction.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Rod, anything you want to share about this past week?
I find that if I don't start the water early and take big gulps right at the start, I can fall behind pretty quick. Yeah. But once I start drinking, then I want to drink. But if I postpone it, there's no desire or no, it's like my body says, okay, no water, we're not drinking water. But that's not what I want at the moment. So yeah, I'm determined.
Excellent. So you're setting yourself up to succeed in terms of kicking off with that water, and it sort of has that domino effect to wanting more and being on that pathway of wanting more, as opposed to not thinking about it, not doing it, and then it's harder to start later.
Yeah, no, if I don't start off right away and take in quite a bit versus a few sips, that's why I moved to these water bottles with big openings. So it's easier to grab a lot of water.
Yep.
Rather than fight the little spout.
Yep.
So that's my story.
Setting up your day for success.
Thank you.
Great. Anything else you want to share about perhaps your workouts or your exercise side of things other than the habit tracking?
As I've mentioned before, that walking has been a challenge in the last while, whether it's just going to a different boot and all this kind of stuff, or just walking in the ice. But I'm noticing I've got a very tender knee. So walked some today and not as far, but it's still a new problem or a new experience, I guess.
And what have you decided? How are you going to manage that?
Still haven't taken up the advice you gave me last week. So that's the next step. Yeah.
The time's going to fly by, Rod. The time's going to fly. You need to have a plan in place. How are you going to tackle the obstacle that you're facing?
Not good at planning. So very resistant to your encouragement. And it will happen. Honest, it will.
Yep, I'd love to hear what you come up with, what plan you have. And the other thing that comes to mind, I know we discussed sort of how you can modify your walks, but perhaps the workout part of the challenge becomes, instead of a walk, it becomes an upper body workout or something where you're not irritating your feet or your legs more. So that's also something to think about, is that, you know, you've got your videos for stretches, or you've got some exercises you can do at home, that perhaps you give your legs a rest for a week and focus on some upper body things that you can do while you're at home.
Yeah, I have considered that, but I noticed that before, if I just do like one set of upper body things, most of them are about 10, 15 minutes, and the minimum is 20 minutes. So I feel that being a bit of a stumbling block, just thinking about that, going the extra time.
Right. So the fact that it's going to be more than what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double, in fact.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I do have a pattern of resisting anything new for quite a while until I finally get it started. So it's just part of my personality.
Yeah.
So.
And what is it that you fear the most when you think about a 15 or a 20-minute upper body workout? Is it the time factor? Is it the fact that you don't know what you're doing? Is it the fact that you're worried it's going to be too challenging? Like, where's the barrier? Where is that coming from? I know you mentioned that it's something new, but
yeah, fear of failure is one of them. And I haven't really thought about it so much.
And what if there was no such thing as failure, as long as you just do it? Doesn't matter what you do, you just do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you spend the 15, 20 minutes doing the same exercise over and over again, or, just doing the most basic exercises that you could do. I mean, the only failure really is if you don't do it.
I don't have a good answer for you.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about motivation. I'm going to fly through this because I don't want you to, I don't want to take up too much of your evening, Rod, in Canada, and Kerry on lunchtime. So motivation basically I'm going to touch on quickly what motivation is, the different types of motivation. We all have individual motivation as well. So I'm going to talk about that. And then how can we actually achieve and sustain motivation? I guess the first part of it, what is motivation? It's derived from the word motive, which denotes a person's needs, desires, wants, or urges. So an actual process of motivating individuals to take action to achieve a goal. So that is motivation. Taking action to achieve a goal, the process in how we direct ourselves to achieve something. It's
Keren, is there a slideshow? Are you showing a slideshow?
Oh, you can't see it?
I can.
Okay, what? Maybe I'm supposed to be on something else here.
Are you on your computer or on your phone?
Computer.
Maybe
There.
try and pin my screen, maybe.
There, I got it. I got you now.
Excellent. All right. So I'm just going to talk about sort of just breaking down motivation so we can understand it, the psychological elements that fuels people behavior. So in the context of a job, it'll be something like success, fame, credibility, networking, social assistance, could be anything like that. Maybe they want to, what motivates them is the money as well, right? And then in the context of health, it could include physical ability, longevity, visual aesthetics, general health, more energy. So you can see that there's lots of different things that can motivate people, and we're also different that, we need to really figure out what drives us. There's a classic textbook definition, which is by Mullins, 2002, who says motivation is a driving force through which people strive to achieve their goals and fulfill a need or uphold a value. And this is important here because there are a few different words that Mullins refers to. It's the needs, the values, and the goals. So the needs are the basic requirements for survival, things like physical, psychological, hunger, thirst, love, friendship. These are really basic requirements. And then there's values, and we all have different values, things that we consider to be important, like family, health, wealth. And then there are the goals, and that is actually the outcome that we're working towards. So the interesting part of this definition is it describes motivation as a driving force. And this suggests a lot of energy that is created within us to move us into an action. So this is something that you've probably experienced when there's something that you really wanted, like if it's winning a race, if it's winning, a match, passing an exam, working hard for something you really wanted to buy. All of a sudden, there's this driving force within you to help you get to the end goal that you've set for yourself to achieve. And as I mentioned in the beginning, our needs, values, and goals are completely individual. Two people might have the same goal. For example, they might both want to win the race, but one person might be doing it for self-esteem and the other person might be doing it for success and to be able to prove, who they are or what they're able to do. So in conclusion, we can say that motivation is specific to an individual and it's a result of their needs and values, which create their particular goal. And that is translated into action. So there are different types of motivation, the intrinsic motivation, and the extrinsic motivation you can see there. And then there are also crossovers. So once you know more about yourself, and that's why I always say knowledge is power, learning about yourself, learning what drives you, learning and really understanding why you do certain things, you can more easily achieve it. And that's why I do ask a lot of my clients to dig a little bit deeper when they're working towards something. So for the success in reaching your goals, first we need to quantify exactly what the goal is. Because if you don't have a vision of what that goal is, how do you then figure out what's going to drive you to succeed in reaching that goal? So we need to have that vision. We've got to figure out the motivation. Why do we actually want to reach that goal? What's the point of doing what we want to do? And then these are sort of the ideas, I guess, of what really resonates for you within the motivation to achieve that goal. Is it achievement? Is it for your own growth? Is it for the growth of a business or a company that you've started? Is it for power? Is it for social? Is it for fear? Is it for incentive? Other reasons. So this is something that I want those of you who are playing back. This is the question of the day for you to answer, for you to message to me privately is, what are the types of motivation? And you can just send me one or two of them that resonate for you. And what is it that's going to make you reach that end goal? Any of these at the bottom here, it might be something that you want to expand on a little bit more personally. Obviously, I want you to get the most out of this challenge. So have a really good think about what is going to drive you. Think about what your goal is with regards to perhaps this challenge. Think about perhaps your end goal, maybe in a year's time. And what is it out of those types of motivations that's actually going to drive you to achieve that goal? Why are you doing what you have signed up to do? So these are my thoughts on how to improve motivation. And I do find that I'm someone who's very motivated and disciplined to achieve goals. Setting small, measurable goals is really, really important, because if I thought about my body sculpting competition there at age 43 or 44, whatever I was when I got on stage, there was no way that I could consider in, the 12-month lead up to that end goal. I couldn't just work for 12 months for that end goal. I had to break it up month by month or week by week. This is what I need to do in order to achieve getting closer to that end goal. So small, measurable goals, bit by bit. Develop a mantra, repeat that mantra. What is that mantra that's going to help you visualize what you want to achieve? I personally find that committing publicly gives me that accountability and a little bit of pressure. I know deep inside, and this probably comes from also the experience that I've had, is that people actually don't really care whether, if I said I was going to compete, whether I actually competed in the end or didn't, no one would remember, no one would really care. But it puts that little bit more accountability on myself to say, well, this is what I've said to you guys that I want to achieve. And so I'm going to keep working to achieve it. But again, you need to remember why you want to achieve that goal. And that will give you that focus and direction to rein you back in. Creating your own routine and rituals. Again, this is the discipline. So knowing what your plan is to get to that goal, you need to have your routine and rituals that are going to be specific to you and your body and your lifestyle. This is a really interesting one, number 5, becoming a good mental debater. This is something that I'll tell all my clients. When you're in that gym, or when you're going for that walk, or when you're in the kitchen preparing your food, you have to talk to yourself. You have to have this constant dialogue about why you're doing what you're doing, the reasons that you've chosen to have the egg whites, or to drink the black coffee, or to get on the treadmill and do your workout. Constantly telling yourself why, reminding yourself, and also identifying yourself as that person. So when I'm in the kitchen making my egg white omelette, I'm saying I want to be lean and strong. And the only way that I can do that is by eating this breakfast. Or when I'm in the gym pushing hard, I'm constantly telling myself, come on, Keren, you want to be lean and strong, or you want to be strong, you've got to push harder. So constantly talking to yourself is something that, yes, you might seem a little bit crazy, but it works. So making sure that you feel comfortable to visualize yourself as the person that you want to become, and doing the things in your life that bring you closer to being that person. So if you want to be a healthy and fit person, you have to start identifying yourself as a healthy and fit person. And that dialogue to yourself is really, really important. So visualizing your goals, seeing them there, seeing that that is the person that you want to be, facing your fears, don't give up, stepping out of your comfort zone. And those are the things that will help you to get there. So I'm just going to share a couple of other tips with you. When you've followed all of those, that sort of sequence of tips for an extended period of time, and I mean at least 3 months or more, things will change. And a lot of the time people sort of will try things for a month or two. They may not get the results as quickly as they want because they haven't been consistent. But if you can be consistent and stick with it for a number of months, you will definitely start to change the way you think and the way that you live. Your life will start to gravitate around you succeeding in those small, achievable, measurable goals, right? If it doesn't happen, then sometimes I'll say to clients, I think that maybe your goal isn't a priority for you. Because if it was, you would be making the time to face the obstacles and to overcome them. And if you're not doing that, then I truly question sometimes, yes, we all have obstacles, but when you want something and you understand why you want it, you will make it happen. And sometimes it might not be the right time. You could really want it, but there are things that are getting in your way. Perhaps there's psychological challenges that are getting in your way. And sometimes I've been very blunt with certain clients that might be something they need to address first. So being really honest with yourself, really owning, being responsible for your actions is really important. I hear people say all the time, this is something I hear often is, I've tried everything. I've tried this, tried that. And perhaps it's true. But the issue that I find with most people when I break it down and peel it apart is that they actually haven't been truly consistent and they haven't really stuck to it for long enough. Those people who stick with it for long enough and are truly consistent and honest with themselves, they will get results. So it's about being really honest. And that's why a lot of diets don't work, because they're not sustainable. They're very strict, and a lot of people can't stick to them for months on end. So just understanding that sometimes slower progress is going to be more sustainable and more beneficial. So what motivates you? You need to dig deeper. It can't just be, I want to lose 5 kilos or 10 pounds because I want to look good in the mirror. Yes, that is great, but why? Why do you want to feel that way? And that's the important part, and really peeling it apart. So a couple of extra motivational ideas just to finish up. These are some tips that I want to share with you about helping you to stay motivated in other ways. For example, music is a great way when you're working out to keep you feeling fresh and funky. You can listen to the style of music that you enjoy. This is going to help you with more intensity and more focus and enjoyment as well. Another important one is getting enough sleep. This is really, really underrated. Sleep is so important, and lack of sleep is going to derail your training. And, that's really going to impact every other aspect of your life. Most people overcompensate with their lack of energy by eating too much to give them energy, or drinking more coffee, or skipping the gym altogether. And doing those sort of things is actually going to put you back, right? The other part of it is being patient. So the motivation will come from being patient and making a promise to yourself that you're going to stick with it for at least 3 or 4 months. Consistency is the key. Don't try to change every habit all at once. Choose one habit at a time. So like we're doing with the challenge, the micro habit, the daily habit that we're focusing on, really trying to nail that before you move on to another habit. And I think we talked about this in our call last week, is that when you try and take on too much, it often leads to overwhelm. And then before you know it, nothing works and we give up. The last part, as I've already mentioned before in this call, is to stick to your diet or exercise plan for at least 30 consecutive days, more if you can, but at least giving yourself that time to be really focused and committed to it. The more often you repeat behaviors, the more likely they're going to become habitual. And I guess if I'm going to leave you with anything in this particular talk on this particular subject, something that I always say is that the number one motivational tip I can give you is not to rely on motivation. And that's because motivation is fleeting. It will come, it will go, it'll go just as quickly as it came, if not faster. So many things in your life can derail you in a moment, and people will often focus on the negatives. So it's really important not to rely on motivation to be the thing that is going to keep you going, but rather setting up your life habits to make the changes gradually, consistently, to get you closer to where you want to be. And that's where professionals will come into it, because they will give you a plan and they will help you to stay accountable for the long term. Lasting change is about progression. It's about consistency, but seeing small pieces of progress along the way. You can't expect to be motivated 100% of the time, and having someone there to support and guide you is going to make you, just to carry you through when your willpower falters. So that's what I'm here for. And that's why we're doing this challenge. And I hope that you will find that this month is a stepping stone to learning how you can become more consistent, achieve that consistency, and then be motivated to do the next step. How does all that sound? What did you take away from that? What were the standout points for you? Anything you can think of there?
I'm waiting for Rod.
Rod
Oh,
is
you
deep
may be
in
waiting on.
thought.
Yeah. Slow to respond. Oh, before I say too much, was there a page 9? I noticed in the table in the top it was a page 8 of 9. The picture I saw was you on stage. Was there another page
No,
after that?
it was just the it was just questions, if there are any questions.
Gotcha. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I've told you that before. And this time, you put everything together in one spot. And I could hear myself talking myself out of it. And also refocusing something that I want to do and can work with. Don't know how to break it down. I'll send you a message. But yeah, I'll give you a private message and I'll let you know.
No problem. Sounds good. Kerry, anything stand out there for you?
I'm generally very motivated. So actually, when I was because I was a single mother of 4,
Wow, I'm impressed.
I was working. I had 2 dogs and a cat, and I was managing a very difficult ex. I, at the time, had to manage my health. So I was working, doing all of the kid things, exercising, and getting myself as strong as I could so that my injury didn't hurt as much. And people used to say to me, "How do you do it?" So I actually have the opposite pull in that I need to stop sometimes. I need to stop driving forward and just have a moment, which is why the meditation is good.
Interesting. Yeah. Great. It's an awesome place to be because that's probably what most people find the most challenging. So you're, I don't want to say lucky. I mean, you've worked hard to get to where you are. And
Well, but that led me to have the injury in the first place. That stress, that constant go and not knowing how to relax and enjoy. Or no, I did know how to, but I didn't have time to back then. So, making sure there's time for me is very important.
Yep. Self-care. Absolutely. Self-care is a big, big part of, taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. So I'm getting very good at it.
Excellent. That is exciting. That's really, really good. Rod, is there anything else that comes to mind? Otherwise, I guess I've said everything and hopefully.
2 things. One was that even while you're talking about motivation, I remember many times I'm motivated, but it's a short, fleeting thing. And I get a lot of experience to say how I failed. So the long-term gain, the long-term goals, in fact, goal is a swear word to me. It's something I just because of the experiences. And Carrie, you said you're going back to school for nutrition. Sorry, you're going to school. Are you going back to school or is this something new?
No, I'm starting a course. It'll have me qualified as a nutritionist within 12 months.
So this is something new. This is not something you're going back to. Is that right?
I'm not going back to it. No.
Okay. I was just wondering. Okay, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you. There was one thing that so when I was busy like I was years ago, other mums used to say to me, "How do you do it all?" And I actually took procrastination out of my vocabulary. It wasn't something I did. There was no dawdling, no, I'm not questioning whether or not I was going to do it. I just had to do it. So, and now if I find myself procrastinating, I go, okay, stop with that and then just move forward. So if there's ever a moment where I am not feeling motivated or I find myself flicking through my phone and messaging on these apps, that I just tell myself to stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
And then we move forward.
Procrastination is a big one, isn't it? We all do it in our own little way. But when you can recognize it and call it, and that's another, tying into what I said at the end there, is you've got to own it. You've got to be responsible for what we're all adults. We've got to be responsible for our actions. And then, take back that control of our lives. Rod, you mentioned the word goal is an evil word for you. Perhaps we call it something else. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be a gigantic goal. Remember, we said the first point of the steps is to have small, measurable goals. So really taking away that pressure, because I know for you that's a really big thing, is feeling that pressure and that, that fear of failure. You can't fail unless you stop. And I've been working with you now for over a year online, and you've been doing these baby steps forward, which is brilliant. So you are succeeding. By no means have you failed in any way just because you're not at the gym, turning into Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're still here, you're still growing, you're still learning about yourself, and we're still overcoming certain challenges. We need to reframe it. Don't be afraid of working towards something. We don't have to call it a goal, but we need to find a way. And that's why I need you to really face a lot of the questions that I throw at you, is to find a way to overcome that, whatever that fear or that block is.
Yeah, I hear you.
So your homework, I think, is to reframe the word goal, and to come up with a plan for how you're going to overcome the challenges that you're facing this week with regards to doing workouts, because we know that we need to do workouts, right? You've got all the reasons why you want to do workouts and why you're part of this challenge. And if the feet are playing up, I'm just calling them the feet. I'm not sure if it's the entire leg or the foot.
It's mostly knee, yeah.
Yeah, the knee, sorry. So if that's playing up, then what do we do to overcome that? How do we work around that? And rather than waiting another week before we come up with the solution, let's just come up with the easiest solution that we can. And you can't fail if you just find the solution that is the path of least resistance. So something's going to be better than nothing. You were doing 45-minute walks. Sorry to cut into your time, Kerry. But, if you were doing 45-minute walks, let's cut it down to 30. If 30 is still too much, let's either cut it down again or find something else that you can do while you're recovering. If actually walking is going to irritate you more, then we need to find something else to do.
Yeah. No, that's why I took your advice today and shortened it up. Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't want to be afraid of things that are going to benefit us. And we start in the smallest possible capacity. Kerry, it's the same for you with the injury. We started off with home workouts. We started off without weights. Then we introduced weights. Now we've moved into the gym. It's a slow process, but you take it in bite-sized pieces and gradually keep moving forward. And that's what I'm here to guide you through. We got
I don't
you,
know
Rod.
if it helps. I don't know if you're attending the gym, Rod, but I'm finding that if I go at the same time each day, there's people there that you can get to know, say hello to, and then it's nice to see, and it's actually motivating to go in and see the smiling faces that you regularly see and can train next to.
We're not at that point yet, but I think that's a really important reminder, is the consistency of the timing. So like you drink your water first thing in the morning, your workouts, let's just say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, or Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday evening. There needs to be consistency so it becomes habit, so that on those days that you don't feel like doing it, you turn up because it's just part of your routine. And you might do it on the lowest level of energy, or, but you still show up.
Right.
And keep going.
Okay. I hear you.
All right. I hope that little slideshow was beneficial in some way. And for those of you playing back the video, I look forward to hearing what your motivation is. And any questions, put them into the comments in the group chat, and let's smash it. We got another couple of days before the tally update. So I look forward to seeing how you all go.
Thank you, Karen.
Have a great night, Rod. See you, Kerry. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.